Welcome to Bookish. I'm Sasha.
And I'm Kendall.
And we're just two girls drunk on some bookish tea.
So sit back, relax, and pour yourself a cup, and join us in discussing all kinds of bookish gossip. Okay, so
Welcome back.
Hi guys. Welcome back. We're doing back-to-back episodes today.
Yeah, because we're just that amazing.
We're on it.
We're on it.
After a 2-month, if not longer, hiatus.
I need to be reminded.
Well, I'm just saying, we went through a period of inconsistency, but now we're on it. We're re-energized.
Yes. With our coffees.
But
we still haven't finished.
I started this at
11? It's 2 p.m. right now.
2 p.m. Still not halfway. I said when we finished, I would be at the halfway mark, and I'm not.
Maybe when we finish this one, you'll be at the halfway mark.
Yeah, maybe. That's good. I really shouldn't be drinking coffee past noon, but
she's rebellious.
It's fine.
She's rebelling.
It's mainly to avoid getting, anxiety shakes, but,
So cute.
It's fine. It's okay.
Fine. I'm I mentioned this in the other episode. I'm on medication for my ear infection.
Mm-hmm.
That is going away. But they're steroids, so I'm already, and then I just have a lot of coffee, and I'm charged up all day.
I've never been put on steroids.
Steroids are so nice.
No, see, my mom got really sick once, and she said that. She was like, "Oh, I hope they give me steroids because they made me feel really energized."
Makes you feel good.
It's interesting.
It's so fascinating, especially my anxiety medication makes you so lethargic and so tired all the time, and I'm like, this is great. But it also makes me feel better, so that's good.
Is that partially why people take steroids?
I think
in the gym sense, is it almost like creatine?
Yeah, I think
in
it
a
is.
way,
yeah,
it kind of has that effect where it pushes you to your limits.
Mm-hmm. I get it.
Interesting.
But
okay.
we don't condone it. But yeah. Anyways.
Okay.
What are we talking about today, Kendall?
Well,
I love this topic.
Yes, it kind of has to do with, having seasons of life where maybe you do go on a 2-month hiatus with something that you love. It's not because you don't want to do it. It's just because, life gets in the way sometimes. And not even life getting in the way. It's just you go through seasons and phases of life where you're motivated and you're really creative and you're, dedicated to your passions and your hobbies. And other times you are a little depressed sack and you just want to curl up into a ball and sit on your couch.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay.
Or just turn your brain off and just
yeah, I guess mine is a little that's a little extreme, but
no, but some days you do need that.
Some days you just really need to decompress.
Yeah, some days you also just need to rot in your sadness.
Yes. Well, you need to feel your feelings.
Yeah.
If you're sad, some days let yourself be sad.
Mm-hmm.
Don't feel the pressure to do to take a million things off your checklist.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was thinking about bookish hot topics.
Yeah.
And I was like, I feel like Sasha and I we've covered a lot of them.
We've touched on pretty much all the main...
Yeah, the core stuff. Battles.
Yeah.
That, book dragons go into.
Yeah.
I said it like that, and it sounds so weird. What was I watching? I was watching a show the other day, and it was talking about bookworms and book dragons, and it was someone who, is not a part of the bookish community was oh my gosh, it was Trisha Paytas. I was watching Just Trisha. And she was what separates a bookworm from a book dragon? What? She's I don't want to be a bookworm. Everyone wants to be a dragon.
Hell yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
So that's why I said that, but that sounded really forced and awkward.
No, I liked it.
Held at gunpoint to say
We're book dragons.
I really think it's cute and I love that, but saying it out loud sounds really weird. But anyway, I was thinking about the hot topics, and I think the one that I feel the most on the daily is, on the daily, maybe on the weekly.
On the weekly.
Is that bookish burnout, the pressure to read not only as much as you can sometimes, but also to, read what's trending, read what's popular on BookTok.
And read, like, as fast as you can.
Yeah, because there's this constant, there's so much to read, and then you see these people, really does have to do, I think, with the online element more than anything, because I feel like real life bookish friends, hopefully there isn't that competitive element. I don't feel that with my bookish friends, but maybe in some circles there is that, but
it's just, like, amplified online.
Yeah.
Especially by what you see, because even, like, I agree, like, it's just, and if you, like, don't read what's trending, then you're, like, forget about it, and no one's gonna be talking about it, and you have no one to talk to about it.
Yeah.
So you feel that pressure, like, read it now.
Yeah, and especially if you enter into that online bookish community, like, you're not just someone who likes to read and scrolls through, scrolls through your TikTok feed or whatever, and you get some bookish content. But if you're someone who's also a part of that online community, I feel like it's even worse, too, because you're like, I need to post what's relevant in order to get people to view my account. So it's like phases of it, but it's like anything on social media or in online culture where you feel this pressure to do as much as possible, read as much as possible, spend as much as possible, honestly, because, getting all these new books is not cheap. And I was reflecting on that. Literally just this morning. I was like, oh, it's kind of like how in our economy and just in our society, we run on, like, man's time. Our society is a patriarchy, right? So we, and men run on a 24-hour clock. Like, their body resets that way. So they're like the sun, and that's why our work days are the way they are. And, us ladies, we go by the moon cycle more so. Like, we're on that 28-day clock. Yeah. And in those 28 days, we experience a lot of different phases, feelings, and we require a lot of different needs. We don't reset every day. And I think, I'm not, like, I really am not well versed in the economy more than this, but I just feel like in our society there is a lot of pressure to buy as much as you can, and that reflects into reading as much as you can, especially when it comes to social media, and I don't like that pressure. So I was thinking, what if there was such a thing as a Moody Moon Reader? That's what I'm going to call it. Like, a Moody Moon Reader. Because one, who doesn't like a lunar title? But also, like, it just kind of means that we as readers, our tastes shift, our needs shift, based on the season we're in life. And that can be like, oh, maybe it's just seasonal vibes, right? Like, oh, it's winter, oh, it's fall, but it can also mean the season of life you're in, the things you're going through, your emotional and physical needs, your energy levels, just like how being a woman, in one phase you have a lot of energy, you want to drink smoothies and eat kale, then the next phase you want to go to sleep all day. Yeah. And eat, a bunch of cookies. It's just like, I mean, cookies is, or you're like craving red meat, or like, I don't know, whatever, like, cookies is it's a bad. You want more, like, whatever it is, okay, based on, like, those, like, ovulatory cycles. Yeah. So, you're gonna have to bear with me, but I broke it down into phases. So, Moody Moon Readers have phases, and they're based on phases of the moon. So I'll get into it. It's kind of like metaphors for the moods we experience and maybe which books we gravitate toward during that time. So a new moon would be like blank slate, okay? You're feeling renewed, refreshed. So you might be craving something fresh, experimental, something you wouldn't normally pick up. Like a palate cleanser, kind of. Yes, like a like a palate cleanser, maybe outside of a genre you don't usually read.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it is something that's trending that you've heard about, you normally wouldn't pick it up, but you're feeling renewed and you have the energy and maybe the time, like the actual time, to just like read this new book.
Mm-hmm.
That's a little out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
You're in that phase of life where you can do that.
Mm-hmm.
But then you go into the next moon phase, right? Which is waxing crescent. And that would be, you know, the moon is filling out, right? So you're feeling a little more hopeful. You're not as like blank slate. You kind of are starting to go back into the comfort zone, but maybe it's not like, you don't want it like a dark, intense read yet. You're more so into something like an uplifting, cozy read.
Yeah.
Maybe a nostalgic read in the sense maybe you read something that you like read when you were a kid. Like you read a fun middle grade, a cozy romance novel, maybe like a coming of age story. Something that is just like a little more sweet, a little more comfortable. But then you could then go from that to full moon phase, which is what I think Sasha told me earlier when we were discussing this, that she might be in right now.
Yeah, I'm thinking that.
Which is like max intensity. Like, you know, people always say they're like, full moon, that's why I'm crying right now. That's why I'm freaking out.
Yeah.
Like,
what phase is it today?
I don't know.
My
I think
watch
I have
is...
them. My watch is... It's
Are you
full moon.
Is it? Oh my god.
It's full moon.
Oh my god. No wonder. Wait, do we both have the lunar thing?
Yeah, I have the lunar thing on my watch.
Oh, cute. Yeah, a full moon. That makes sense then. Why I'm in my full moon reading phase.
And I'm not saying that you have to, obviously, like, based on the moon cycle, this is what you want, but...
Emphasis on mood.
It's more about, like, your mood. It's more about the fact that you don't need to be this one type of reader all the time. Like, we go through those phases, and it's okay.
And you don't have to read, like, 800-page fantasy novels if you're, like, not into it. Or you don't have to read, like, a super heavy-duty, like, literary old, like, classic to be, like, considered a good reader, like, a real reader. Which I feel like sometimes we fall, or at least I do, like, fall into that trap. It's like, I'm literally reading, like, a 300-page.
And it's because of all the perceptions, like, online and even in real life, right? Yeah. You'll encounter people who will condemn you for reading, like, fairy stuff.
Literally everything. Like,
or if you are reading classics, maybe someone would be like, oh, you're, like, trying to be
like, you're a tryhard. Like,
piece of shit. You're just reading this to read this.
Yeah, it's like you're not actually...
It's like, this is really, like, a bedside table book. Like, you know, like a male manipulator bedside table book.
Yeah.
To make you seem...
Yeah.
Whatever.
People can have their opinions, whatever you do.
Exactly. And this is about not giving a fuck about them. So then, full moon, max intensity, like I was saying, emotional epics, thrillers, dark fantasy, high drama, something that has a lot of big feelings. And honestly, I feel like when you read these, it's when you have, like, the emotional capacity to really... to, like, you kind of want to cry. You want to feel these things. It's not when you want to dive, say, like, the waxing crescent. Like, it's not maybe if you're in the season of life where you're kind of sad and, like, you need something to pick you up. That's a little pick me up. You'd be more in that waxing crescent phase where you want that cozy bookstore read, or romance. But Sasha, do you want to say what you're reading that tells you that you might be in that full moon phase?
Yeah, so I'm currently in the midst of the Poppy War series. And I'm halfway in book 2 right now, The Dragon Republic. And obviously cannot recommend this series enough. Like, literally so unique. Is it R.F. Kuang? R.F. Kuang? I don't know.
I pronounce it Kuang.
I hope that's right. She is literally such a genius. Like, I'm learning about history. I'm learning about, like, colonialism and, like, East Asia. I just, like, it's all connected to, like, the real world, but it's fantasy and it's, like, magic, but it's also, like, I just love it, and I just love that it's not so West. Like, I read a lot of Western fantasy too. Not intentionally, it's just that's what is, like, just most popular and most common, and, like, don't know. I love seeing it from a different perspective.
Yeah.
And so it's like a lot of world building, even though it's very like historically based on like.
Yeah, but you still need the context.
It's like it's based on that, but it's like a fantasy world. So I'm just like, I've been saving that series for like probably a year now.
Yeah.
Because I'm not trying to be. I feel like I'm not like a TBR pile kind of girl.
Yeah.
Like I have a sort of idea, but I'm like, I pick it on my mood, and like I finish a book, and I'm like, I look at my bookshelf, and I'm like, what's my vibe?
Sasha's already a Moody Moon Reader.
I'm trying to be, because if I just like force myself to do it, then I'm like, what the fuck is even the point? You know, like fun. I'm not enjoying this. Like, why am I reading like Jane Austen if I'm so tired and burnt out? Yeah, I'm like, there's no need for this. But yeah, so that's why I feel like there's a lot of, because you know, also like Fang Runan is the main character of the Poppy War books, and she's also just so bold and fiery and like,
you need that
full of emotion. Yeah, and it like emboldens me. I'm like, girl, like that's why I think like it's a new full series, a new world, like,
which is a lot. Sometimes
you don't have.
Some people have times in their life where that would be too much for them. Like right now, I could not do that. I cannot delve into a full new series, and
it can be a lot. Like
I'm in a different phase. I wish I was in it. That's like the best, personally.
It's my favorite.
That's the best phase to be in, when you can do that. But like,
I wasn't
that's
in
not
it
always
for a while.
what you need, or what you're capable of.
Yeah,
that's the best phase. My phase is that I'm currently in is, I think, more the next one, which would be a waning gibbous. I would say this one, it's less intense. I think it's more reflective. It's when you might get into, you know, classic literary fiction, a memoir, maybe something that's more, like maybe a nonfiction.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's more of when maybe instead of reflective, it's more you also want to like learn about something specific.
Yeah.
And like learn. And I was telling Sasha, I've been reading, I wish I knew the exact book name, but I've just been reading about like the Celtic Irish god pantheon, and for purposes of research for like a new writing project I'm starting on, and haven't really, you know, I was telling her, I was like, I feel like, I mean, this is a book technically, right? But it's not like, when I think of books, I think of something with a plot. This is technically like, I'm going through these myths and these legends. I'm reading about these specific gods and the symbolic meaning behind them and whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd rather be doing that right now than sitting down and, I mean, I wish I could do that. Like, I wish I could, but as I was saying, I think in the episode before this, that I'm just really burnt out. So when I'm feeling that way, the one thing I can usually do is write. Mm-hmm. So, like, focusing more on that hobby when I'm feeling a lot of big feelings is easier for me than delving into a book where I have to process other characters' feelings, and I also don't have the time.
Yeah,
right now.
That is true. Like when you're a reader, like you are processing other characters' feelings, and that takes a lot of
We're
energy.
feeling it with them.
Yeah,
and unless you have like, because when you read books like that, then you usually kind of go into a slump because you're like, oh my gosh, that was a lot, and I don't think anything can give me that same feeling. Mm-hmm. And you do kind of process it, and you grieve with them.
Yeah.
You feel those happy eyes with them, and it's beautiful. But, like, I personally, end of school year, I don't have the time, the energy, capacity, or, like, even just because of the burnout, like, the desire to read that.
Yeah. And that's fine.
Yeah.
I think sometimes, like, even in this phase you're talking about, it's fine also just to, like, not read.
Well, that's technically the next
phase. Is that the next? Oh, sorry. I skipped forward.
Well, so the next phase isn't necessarily a phase of the moon that is cyclical. It's more of like a stage or an event, right? So like a dark moon, or maybe like you could think of it as like an eclipse kind of thing. It's retreat mode. And that's when that's when you retreat. Maybe that's when I'm talking about like the rotting. Maybe not the debilitating rot where you really don't want to do anything that brings you joy. More of the rereading comfort books. I'm gonna reread, my favorite fantasy series for the 10th time in a row. Because it's the only thing. It's like when you're feeling anxious or you're trying to fall asleep at night. I mean, I'm the type of person who does this. Like, I have to watch specific TV shows.
Yes, actually, but it's like a rewatch.
Oh, it's something I've fallen asleep. I don't even watch it. I, like, turn it on and I'm asleep in 2 minutes. Mm-hmm. But it's like, I need that to go to bed. Yeah. It's the same thing, but with books, it's like you need something really, really familiar and comfortable.
That's like me with all TV shows. It's really hard for me to watch new things. Yeah. And I think that is attributed to like having mental illness. I read that somewhere. But it's like true. I cannot, and anyone that knows me knows that this is true. Like, very rarely will I watch new shows. And I will just watch the same 50 movies. Yeah. And the same, like, 10 shows over and over and over and over again. And I think it's, like, because I'm just perpetually in that stage of, like, movies, I'm more, like, I like to watch new movies. Yeah. But shows, I'm just, like, forever in that stage. I don't know why.
I think it's like, just I think it can be, like, you also watched that during a time where maybe you felt a little more stable. Or if you were unstable, it was the one thing that made you feel comfortable.
Yeah, I think it just makes you feel those, like, I don't know, for me, I just, like, feel like I'm with, like, friends or something.
Exactly. And that's why, no, it's like I like to hear that, well, they say, it's like you like to hear the voices, you need white noise, you need something to make you feel like you're not alone and in the dark. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And for me, like, and people are going to have comments on this. Like, I really do. I love rereading. Throne of Glass is not the only thing I reread, but if I'm going to delve back into... That's not true. Actually, it's pretty true, though. If I'm going to delve back into a fantasy series that I really like to reread, it usually is Sarah J. Maas. Sometimes it has been Molly Black in the past. I really like rereading the Stephanie Garber books because those are the books that I read like during the times in my life where I had the time to really read, and it was kind of what reignited my love of fantasy from when I was like in middle school and stuff. It was also like during my adolescence, so it's like and those characters, like, you just feel, I don't know, I got so emotionally attached to them during that time in my life. And I also reread them during COVID, so I think there's, like, something with that. Like, when I was such isolation, and, like, you do feel like they're your friends and family.
You also feel like they're parts of you. I feel like for me, there are parts of myself, because I feel like we were reading at such young ages. Yeah. Like, I feel like there are parts of me in those characters. Like, parts that I just selected, and I'm like, I like that, and I'm gonna think like that.
It's true, they're influences, and they are. You feel comfortable reading it, it feels familiar. Sometimes I think when you're in that retreat mode, you don't really want to pick up a new book. I personally feel stressed out picking up a book, because I'm scared, I might hate it, I might DNF it, because I know I'm not in a place where, but it's like, if I get halfway through, or I get a quarter of a way through on a bad day of a book I've read a million times, I don't feel bad about it.
Yeah, because also it's like worth your time.
But also, like, I know what happens anyway, so I know I'm not DNFing it. Like, I'm just, like, reading a part of it that I really like, and it's like watching your favorite episode of a comfort TV show.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not, you don't feel that pressure. You're not like, I need to, I mean, sometimes you are, but you don't be like, I need to binge this whole series all over again, like all 7 seasons. You don't like have to do that. That pressure's removed. But also, this Dark Moon retreat mode can also include not reading at all.
That's what I was thinking of.
Yes. Yeah. So it's either like going back to a comfort series or just standalone that you really love. That's like really no pressure. You're just reading to escape, to feel better. You're not trying to like. You don't need to have the energy. It's when you lack energy.
Yeah.
I think.
And just, like, I think it's also, like, slowing down. Like, not pushing this weird book quota.
Yeah.
But I think, like...
Because you wouldn't necessarily count that.
No, because it's not counted. Yeah. So you just really have to, like... I think it forces you to just slow down and be like, life is not... Like, it's just not that deep.
But I think a big part to highlight, too, is, like, the not reading at all phase. It doesn't mean you're not a reader. Doesn't mean you're a bad reader. It doesn't mean you're not bookish. It doesn't remove that part of your identity. Yeah. You know, it's not that deep. Like, people have phases, and this is a good segue into the quote that I just shared with Sasha before this episode. This quote I found a few days ago, not a few days ago, a few weeks ago on Pinterest, and I've been reading the quote like almost every day because it just feels nice. It's, if it's your calling, it will keep calling. And I liked that a lot because it's the same thing. It's like your passions, like you're gonna go through phases. That's the difference between doing something and having a hobby that's trendy and actually having like a hobby that you love, like a passion.
Yeah.
Like, it will come back to you. Mm-hmm. You know, like there are times and seasons where maybe you can't put energy into it, but if it will call you again. Yeah. It will call to you again because it's something you really love, something you're drawn to, something that like makes your soul and mind and spirit all
to like force yourself to do it. Yeah. Like, it'll just come back. Like, exactly. Especially like reading slumps. It's okay. It's fine. Like, it'll come back.
Like, people are always talking about, like, oh, what do I need to do to get out of a reading slump? Just have the slump.
Sometimes you can really just reread a book or just slump. Just slump. Like, it's fine. It will come back. Yeah. Like, your love of reading and your desire to, like, jump in, it will come back.
Yeah.
Because it usually is just, like, I think we just put too much pressure on ourselves.
Well, I think people also, it's like, again, if you're mentally not feeling great, or whatever is happening in your life, whatever phase you're in, sometimes like your hobbies just aren't going to be the things that are calling you.
Things that are, and that's fine,
calling your attention.
Yeah.
And it doesn't take away from how bookish you are.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's basically it.
We're gonna leave you guys with that in mind, that amazing quote that Kendall just read. And just to remind you, there's nothing wrong with being a Moody Moon Reader.
Yeah.
And just what I always think about, especially like being on BookTok and Bookstagram, and it's all a lot. Like, it's really fun, and I love all the creativeness, and I love all the people on there. Mm-hmm. But obviously, it's been said over and over again. Like, there's the other side of it that's just like stressful and like judgmental and stuff. But like, think of your bookshelf as like a wine cellar.
Ooh.
And okay, Sasha. You know, this is literally this is not my idea. I read this.
Oh, you read this somewhere?
This is not my idea, but I always come back. This is like what I always come back to. It's like when I feel that pressure, or like, oh, this book isn't smart enough. Like, I want to read something smarter, or something like that. I'm just like, your bookshelf is a wine cellar, and they're just aging. Like, all your books are just aging for that perfect spot when you are ready for it.
Yeah, like just waiting for the perfect time. Like, you were called to it at some point.
Yeah, like I knew I wanted to read it. Yeah,
but
it's just like not for right now.
Time.
Yeah,
that's
and like
nice.
that's
like that.
It's kind of, it ties into like just being a mood reader, honestly. But it's like if I have that perspective, like, you don't buy a ton of wine and then drink it all within a week. Like, that's just not. You could.
Not great for you.
But it's just like, it's not gonna make you feel good. It's not like. It doesn't make sense, and it just, there's no need for it because you have this amazing wine.
It also
why kind of just binge on? I don't know.
It takes away the joy, and I think it takes away how special and almost like intimate those experiences can be.
Like each wine, it takes away from like each book's uniqueness.
It does.
And like your experience with each one.
It's like, at the end of the day, it's all wine, but if you compare like a 150-year-old, I don't know, Pinot Noir to a cheap, like, bottle wine that's, like, $11. Yeah. Like, there is a difference. And also, it's more, like, the special moments associated with those things.
Yeah.
I feel like if you're speed reading, it's harder to go back and be like, oh, I read this during this time in my life, and I really needed this book.
Yeah. And, like, I think we forget that sometimes. Like, that's kind of what it's about.
Yeah, it's about joy. That's what hobbies are. It's about joy. It's about, it's just about joy. Creating moments of joy for yourself. Mm-hmm. So in a life that's crazy.
Yeah, so let this be a reminder to slow down and follow the moon.
And let us know what phase you're in. I'm curious. If, I don't know, I feel inspired to maybe try and make like a Moody Moon Reader TBR list.
Yes.
Or at least maybe just personal ones.
Yeah, I think
I'm not even like one, but for us, like, okay, what book
Yeah.
each phase.
Yeah, I can like go through my bookshelf and be like, oh, this is like a waning gibbous. This is a full moon.
This is what I gravitate toward
Yeah.
during this phase.
I'm gonna definitely have that in my mind from now on. So hopefully you guys too.
Yeah. Just
Anyways.
relax.
Yeah.
But thank
We
you
love
for
you.
joining us. We love you.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.